and gentlemen, enthusiasts of artificial intelligence, and I can say that, even at the final session of the day, the energy is so much that we had enough number of questions for the previous session as the session length itself. So I think that's fantastic, when you consider the passion for artificial intelligence that's there in this audience. I'm practically technofied today. The sessions are a proof that artificial intelligence has irrevocably penetrated our lives. Let me quote Max Tegmark, who's the author of the very famous book, Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of AI. The real risk with artificial intelligence is not malice, but competence. A super intelligent AI will be extremely good at accomplishing its goals. And if those goals aren't aligned with ours, we are in trouble. So Max's golden words actually pose that most existential of all questions. How much is too much? At the end of a day of discussions around artificial intelligence in various formats and in various businesses, in various areas, I think it is pertinent that we are ending the day with a question and a session on human resources, which actually asks us, how much is too much? And I'm here to tell you that the human resources management function has begun to search for answers to this question. The HR function in organizations is no longer limited to just managing people to deliver results. It is transforming itself to handle ecosystems of human-machine coexistence, to decide, to solve problems, and actually enrich employee experiences at workplaces. So from an AI perspective, what does the future hold for the HRM framework? To address this question, it would be interesting and pertinent to actually trace the evolutionary journey of HRM. And you would be interested to know that the absolute origin of probably the world's earliest manuals on people management were written by this gentleman called Kautilya, or Chanakya, as he is known in India, who was the advisor to the Indian emperor Chandragupta Maurya several centuries before Christ. And artificial intelligence, by the way, did not start 60 years ago, as we heard in the morning, but actually went back several centuries, several millennia, when you had a sage by name Agastya, who actually created what is called as Nadi Jyosyam, which is probably the start of artificial intelligence in India. During the days of industrialization, the accounts and admin was a department that emerged to focus on worker-related concerns aimed at the maintenance of people, much like they did the machines that were operated. So that was the start of the industrial era, things like managing leave, compensation, benefits, playing the role of a timekeeper, etc. But around the early and mid-1980s, organizational practices such as job description, job evolution, training, leadership building entered the discourse. The personnel who actually contributed, to the functions of the industry, they they were celebrated with having a department of their own, and that was the personnel department. Subsequently, you had the HR department, where it became a function that would contribute to the organization productively, tackle challenges, and manage new economy professionals. But at the turn of the millennium, we now find that there is an ever-growing need to embrace digital-powered technologies for solutions. To match majority employee expectations, HR managers are required to be as nimble as a food delivery app that we are all very, very fond of ordering from, and as agile as an e-commerce platform. Let me now share with you what it is that we at Brihat Insights Global have actually done by way of artificial intelligence in HR, and I'd like to present this to you as an India innovation. We discovered that profiling systems which were used by recruiters were redundant when they lacked behavioral insights. They lacked data. We found that even though there was a lot of behavioral profiling that went in, it was not capable of predicting whether that new head of sales who you just hired would actually walk into your office or probably not take up the job at all. We realized that most of us were actually hiring in the dark. And that's why we created Brihat Insights Global, which is an artificial intelligence in HR organization that utilizes AI to make it easier for hiring corporates to not only effectively manage their people requirements, but also obtain actionable insights to drive productivity and engagement. And that is when we actually started calling it the practice of hiring bold, of being empowered with data. A visually impactful product of the artificial intelligence system that Brihat Insights uses is called RecruiTech, and it looks like this. It provides you with a very visually appealing set of information. It has all the data about that particular candidate, and it also delivers a score, which is a predictive index of how confident you can be about the candidate actually joining the organization, accepting the offer and joining the organization. So if you look at what it is that artificial intelligence actually does. Now what I mentioned about Brihat Insights Global, and I have my colleague Umashankar Kandaswamy here in the audience who leads this business, what we did was we picked up the effect of artificial intelligence, what AI can deliver by way of data and insights, but we did not forego the human intelligence aspect of it. Technology cannot replace the need for innately human skills such as empathy, creative thinking, ingenuity, teamwork, initiative, or resilience. And that should remain the sole domain of us humans. Therefore, today, with the advent of artificial intelligence and human resources, what we believe is that HR practitioners will have access to several smart technologies that increase the efficiency of processes previously conducted manually, thereby giving them ample time to focus on more HR-related meaning-making activities and not just performance efficiency. So, how will this happen? Now, if you look at the 4 core areas of HR, talent acquisition, talent management, learning and development, and compensation and benefits. Now, in each of these areas, we can see how artificial intelligence is not only making waves, but is actually here to stay. In talent acquisition, today, TA managers have access to systems that can skim through millions of profiles to identify the best organizational fits. Data visualization tools like what I just represented with RecruiTech, the product from Brihat Insights Global, they actually present and report recruitment metrics not only at an overall level, but also at each candidate level, and they actually draw attention to undesirable patterns. Hiring decisions get better. Recruitment budgets are more effectively and judiciously used. Talent management, AI-powered systems can conduct and analyze organizational-wide employee surveys to unveil several workforce trends and preferences. There are AI-driven systems that perform facial recognition for employee mood analysis. There is an organization which is led by a friend of mine called Butterfly.ai, which is in the US, and it is doing exactly this by mapping employee sentiment and by creating and linking it to enablers for greater productivity. L&D, learning and development. The biggest catalysts of career progression of employees is learning, and I think we all agree about that. When an employee's career progression is mapped to organizational goals and it becomes strategically chartered, then you can expect not only greater engagement, but also greater productivity leading to profitability. Zoomy.ai is a company that offers learning analytics solutions which collects real-time, fine, granular behavioral data for better learning outcomes. Compensation and benefits. Another pivotal area which comes under the purview of the HR function, Comp and Ben, as it is popularly known as, is significantly impacted by AI systems. It is built on complex neural algorithms, and AI, which is built on that, can fast detect patterns that statistically correlate employees' past responses to the organization's Comp and Ben layout. BQuam is a company, bquam.com, is a company which is an artificial intelligence-based Comp and Ben company that determines compensation boosts through data which provides decisions which previously we would have done just using gut instincts. It actually looks at probably identifying flight risk employees who, by providing the right compensation and benefits, you can actually retain them. As voice and facial recognition continue to evolve, machine learning algorithms are getting more capable than ever. Deep neural networks now give AI the ability to learn, moving from doing tasks to solving problems independent of subsequent instructions. Venture capital funding of AI companies has globally soared to 72% last year, hitting a record $9.3 billion in 2018. But as AI becomes increasingly embedded in our society, it will change how we work and live. IDC predicts that by 2024, half of the structured and repeated tasks will be automated in workplaces, and 20% of knowledge workers will have AI-infused software or a digitally connected technology as a co-worker. According to a McKinsey report, job profiles characterized by repetitive activities could experience the deepest decline as a share of total employment from 40% to about 30% by 2030. So what do the customers feel? And when I say customers, I'm talking about the internal employees who actually are the customers for HR. What do these customers feel? In a survey of 6,000 executives conducted by IBM, 66% of the respondents said that they believe cognitive computing can drive significant value in HR. Another 50% said that they believe that artificial intelligence will affect key roles. The growth of AI may eventually mean that HR departments do not have a choice. So, ladies and gentlemen, what will HR do when they focus on the career experience that is sought by millennials today rather than just a career trajectory, right? They will actually map talent effectively to organizational needs during recruitment. They will enable flatter organizations that have cross-functional teams. They will find avenues for continuous upskilling and reskilling. And they will, most importantly, help decision makers drive productivity and profitability from the front. And that brings us to the million dirham point, or maybe you can call it the 2 million dirham points, which we actually have to ponder, right? 1, HR data is humongous and is often not organized or structured in most organizations. So to apply a unified algorithm across systems may result in deceptive interpretations. And we also need to think of the entire concept around workforce diversity. Now, in a country like UAE, where you have, and which is a veritable melting pot of different cultures and different nationalities, different ethnicities, different races, what would typically happen when you have AI also adding to the diversity that's already there? You have dimensions of diversity like gender, generation, physical capabilities, culture, to name a few. Juxtaposing these in an artificially intelligent world, machines and bots could also actually become representatives of a significant strand, yet another strand of workforce diversity. And that really brings us to the point that we all have to, seek the answer to and probably reflect internally. How do we ensure that bias and exclusion is kept out of artificial intelligence? How do we ensure that we actually have inventive inclusion? How do we ensure that data silos are not created, which actually prevent the machine from learning truly and actually providing the right solutions? Exclusion and bias that are byproducts of data discrimination will have to be absolutely watched out for in an artificially intelligent, diverse world. Data silos have to be systematically identified and disbanded locally and globally. While machines will do the drudgery of monotonous work, thought leaders and HR managers will have to increasingly focus on training their AI systems on data which is representative of the organization while driving their agenda of diversity and inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, what you feed is what you get. If you feed in biased data, then the machine spews out biased answers. If your training data is bias-free, you can expect the machine to be unprejudiced too. I visualize the AI system in all our organizations like this curious 6 or 7-year-old kid, one that is observing us, that's looking at us, repeating what we do, and actually learning from us. And in the human resources department, this could not be truer. We actually have to ensure that our AI is bias-free by ensuring that, as Dr. Sid very rightly said this morning, the upstream systems are bias-free too, which means we have to debias ourselves. We have to remove stereotypes. We have to remove cognitive biases. And only then will the programming that is done, only then the data that is captured through us and by us will actually be bias-free. So, similar to electricity, similar to motorized vehicles, similar to fire for the Neanderthal man, artificial intelligence is here, but you can use it either to create or destroy. So, those who want to affect positive organizational change by virtue of augmented intelligence, which is derived from big data, they will see that their success actually rests on their ability to stay and be human in an artificially intelligent world. Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure addressing you. Thank you for your wonderful being such a great audience. And thank you for this opportunity, TressCon. It was a fantastic experience right through the day. Thank you so much.